too long. We were supposed to do this at 8 o'clock, but we got delayed. So we apologize for the delay.
Jehovah's Witness mother-in-law is here.
Yeah, so she was here visiting, and we were just trying to get rid of her. no, we didn't.
Nobody's on yet.
Yeah, so that's okay. Sorry, we took too long.
Yeah.
We may have decided not to
All
show
right,
up.
so the topic today
Yeah, we'll just go ahead and start our topic.
is Jehovah's Witnesses and how they like to shuffle money and use shell corporations.
Yeah, so that's what we were going to talk about today. Oh, we have one viewer. Yeah, so Anthony has prepared some information on what he wants to talk about with the money corporations, or what the money that they have invested in corporations, excuse me.
Yeah.
The governing body, right?
Yes, some. I'm just trying to.
Okay, so you can share what you have found.
Oh, well, I think I've got the wrong phone.
I can go get
Hold on, I'll find
use
it.
this one.
Well, basically, what we've been talking about is how Jehovah's Witnesses know that there's a storm brewing and they can feel it coming. And what they're doing is something they've done in the past. And any big or large corporation does it. They start shuffling money and moving it around to what they call shell corporations. And large entities will have many umbrella companies that they try to play a hide and seek game with. Like a good example is Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York, Watchtower and Bible Tract Society of Pennsylvania, the Pulpit Association, Watchtower and Bible Tract Society of New Jersey, the International Bible Students Association. All of those are all one big corporation under Watchtower. So, and Jehovah's Witnesses. Mm-hmm. And it also, they're...
Jeff says hi, and he agrees that he knows that they know that the storm is coming.
Yes.
Definitely true.
Yep.
So what else did you find out?
Jehovah's Witness Corporation.
Hi, Claudia.
Man, I am blind as a bat these days, guys.
Wait, it's about to die. You need to charge it.
Oh, it's fine for this.
Okay.
All right. And it's just a list of who all the corporate officers are. Okay.
Yeah, Danette says, really glad you are shining a light on this repulsive organization. They've made sure their rank and file keep donating. That is so true. Yes.
The board of directors for Watchtower Bible and Tract Society is Robert Louis Sirocco, Richard E. Devon, and David Schaefer. Secretary and treasurer is Danny L. Bland.
Okay, now tell us who these people are, though.
This is the board of directors. All corporations have a board of directors. You have your governing body.
Are they
which are
helpers?
Running things.
Okay.
Well, I don't know exactly if they're helpers or not. Let's see. But these are people that are on the board of directors. Like any company or corporation has set up a board of directors. Even though they're a non-profit organization, they're still a corporation.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It looks like their corporate veil could be destroyed. Now, the only way you can break a corporate veil is with the lawyers and judges. The judge has to order the corporate veil to be broken, and that's nowadays pretty common. Mm-hmm. So I guess these idiots don't realize that's going to happen if they hit court for the multitude of charges coming to them. But the reason that they've got the international realtor is kind of interesting, because it makes me wonder if they're going to use him to start funneling money. And of course, if I'm thinking this, the legal system's thinking it very much. So I think that their games are all over. It's just a matter of time.
Oh, okay. Schaefer is a helper. I think I've heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Not sure if he's anointed. Yeah. It's hard to know. With the helpers, they don't have to be, I guess.
Right.
Hi, SD, AR. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah. What else did you find out?
Well, hold on and I'll tell you.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, David Schaefer, you're right. He is a helper, but he's also the one of the two vice presidents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So,
wonder if he's of the anointed. Oh, Joey.
uh-oh, our
Alright.
dog is hitting the stand down here.
Yeah.
Guys, again, we're so sorry for starting so late.
Yeah. It wasn't in the plans.
Yeah. So basically, whenever the legal system goes after people, they're probably going to try to throw the board of directors under the bus. But the funny thing is, we all know that's going to be flipped and it's going to go right to the governing body and the board of directors. So it's going to be a double whammy in the legal systems. It's going to fold them up. They're not going to be able to pay for everything. The Pennsylvania thing that's going to hit, the New York thing that's coming out soon, and you got to remember these things are not going to happen overnight. These trials go on and drag on for years. So within the next 5 to 10 years, this could actually drag out, kind of like the Catholic thing did with them. And it took 8 years, I think I read, for some of that to get settled, up to 10. So it's going to drag out. But the billions of dollars it ended up costing just from the few cases for the Catholics, it smalls in comparison to the amount of cases that Jehovah's Witnesses have. That's insanity.
Yeah.
Catholics have 1 billion members. Jehovah's Witnesses have supposedly 8.5 million, which and I know that's a lie. Kingdom halls today are a shell of what they once were.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, because regarding that, fixing my faith, he mentioned a kingdom hall in Denmark
right.
that was abandoned.
Yeah.
It had been abandoned for how long?
I don't know. I don't think
We're
it
not
said.
sure how
Yeah.
long, but it had been abandoned for a while, enough to where apparently the city came and just demolished it, and because it was like a bunch of homeless people were living in it. So I think it was possibly a kingdom hall that they forgot about, and it was abandoned. Like, there's churches that get abandoned, that people just, the congregation dissolves because there's just not enough supporters. And that must have happened in this place in Denmark, where there just wasn't enough active Jehovah's Witnesses going, and then it just got abandoned. And being that none of the members actually own the building, it belongs to the headquarters, so they would be the ones responsible for um, keeping track of that. Oh, so supposedly they claim 9 million Jehovah's Witnesses, huh?
Oh, it went to
Bunch
9
of
million?
liars.
Oh,
Bunch of
wow.
liars. It's only probably, I would say the numbers are declining. They're not rising, as you know. So I don't know, but if I had to guess, I would say around 4 million worldwide. And so that's not many if it's worldwide. Even 9 million isn't a lot, anyways.
Yeah, see, this is how they're hiding stuff right here. Like Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania, it's listed as a non-stock, not-for-profit organization. But then you get into, and it's headquartered out of Warwick, New York. But then you get into Jehovah's Witnesses, often referred to as the Society, holds copyrights of most literature published by the Jehovah's Witnesses. The Society is founded. It goes on to say who founded it, and it tells who actually owns all of the different corporations, which is owned by Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York. So they own the shell corporations. Pennsylvania is just a way to where they can say, we're Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania, sue them,
Mm-hmm.
keeping everything away from where the main money's being funneled. So it's pretty weird how that happens.
Yeah, and then Danette says if they lose the state of Norway's appeal to the Supreme Court, Watchtower may have to pay the legal fees. So that's going to be a pretty hefty amount. And I'm sure that with all of these court cases going on, they are having to sell their kingdom halls left and right. And I guess they're investing their money in real estate, right?
Yeah.
Because Stephen Letts, a relative of his, is a real estate agent.
Oh, here, that was the old board of directors. The new governing, or the new board of directors is Harold Corkin, Anthony Griffin, Mark Questel,
Mm-hmm.
Kent Fisher for assistant secretaries, Edgar Ray, and Jesse Van Moore, or Jesse V. Morris. I guess. Oh, Jesse Morris. That's
Anthony Morris's
Anthony's son. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's on the
Hi,
board
CJ.
of directors.
Yeah. Yeah. It's 9 million is not a lot, and in reality, it's probably 4 million. Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, possibly. But either way, the numbers are not going up; they're going down. So, but they like to lie and fudge their numbers, anyways, to
Well, they
make them
lie about
sound
everything.
like they are growing and leaps and bounds. But the minute a stranger walks in the Kingdom Hall, you get the third degree of like almost like an interrogation. Who are you? Who invited you? How did you know about us? Like, yeah, 'cause you preach. I mean, duh. But they just assume nobody wants to be Jehovah's Witness, so they just are like, "What are you doing here? That doesn't make any sense." Okay, so
Oh, Adelaide Company of Jehovah's Witnesses. Wow.
the Adelaide?
That's Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about it?
It's they also have an incorporation there too.
Yeah. Sure, they do in
Jeez.
every country. The big reason they don't want to be deregistered is they will have to pay taxes on the donations in that country. Exactly. Because it'll be a business,
Well-
not a nonprofit organization.
And also, any religious organizations in most countries that are not for profit get granted an allotment out of the country budget every year for charitable works and charitable organizations. And we all know that Jehovah's Witnesses technically don't do charity. You know, if they help
No, they
you,
don't.
it's with strings attached. You sign a paper to give your insurance money back once you get it if your house is destroyed or something. They're not doing anything for charity. So they're giving you something that they're going to get back, because not only are they going to do all the work to repair your house, they're going to file it so they get paid that money back, including the labor that they didn't pay for to start with. So they're literally making money off of their own members from national disasters.
Yep.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous, actually. And they actually could lose their registrations just for that right there.
Yeah, because
I was reading about that, how they could lose them just for doing shady stuff like that.
can they get caught?
Easy. That would be easy to do. All you got to
But
do is catch them signing, making people sign over their insurance. So,
Well, hopefully they'll get caught with that
Yeah.
too, because, you know, as a church, most churches, they do charity work. They
Yep.
give to the poor, and they have food donations, and they try to do what they can in the community. But Jehovah's Witnesses, they do not do that, and even helping
No.
their own people apparently comes with stipulations.
yep.
And then, like, regarding how many members there are, like they claim 9 million, which I'm thinking more like 4. And then how many of those are PMOs? Like someone says here, like the PMOs. Yeah, I mean, how many are there? There might be quite a few, and we don't even know, because they have to be secretive about how they truly feel so they don't lose their family. And I think that if they would stop the shunning policy, that would end their religion, because people aren't going to go if they don't believe in it, and they're not going to be punished for leaving. Then what's left? You're just going to have a few people anyways. Jeff says maybe they'll be motivated to open soup kitchens.
Yeah, right. I like that.
I love it.
They don't help nobody but their own selves.
Yeah,
And they claim to be this loving group of people.
right.
Oh, those brothers are so loving. Just like the same, every time you go to a talk, you
Mm-hmm.
know, go to a Kingdom Hall and hear a talk, the people that were Jehovah's Witnesses or have ever been will know everybody always say, "Oh, what a great talk that brother give." And I'm going, "You
Mm-hmm.
talking about the same people I saw talking?" Oh, there it is.
Okay. Yeah, we just
Yeah.
looked like it blacked out for a minute.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like I know it's just crazy, like how they think that
Yeah.
they are these loving people. And then they had that one regional convention, Love Never Fails.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't know what love means. And um, shunning or disfellowshipping is a loving provision from Jehovah. Like all they consider punishment a loving provision from Jehovah. So
Yeah. Well,
annoying.
that's like they like to cherry pick scripture to make some point that the scripture they chosen in the book or the chapter they chose it from has nothing to do with what they're trying to make the point of. They cherry pick scripture to suit themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And just like I've said 100 times before, the governing body and anybody that's ever been involved in the writing department or has been involved in the library of the Jehovah's Witnesses know the truth. And they know that everything they teach is a lie. That's
Mm-hmm.
why they will not put any of their old material on their library. If they were not ashamed of it, it would be there for everybody to see. All of Rutherford's books, all of everything Noor, those earlier things Noor did, all of Russell's stuff, it would all be there, but it's not. And they're not going to put it there, especially Rutherford.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That guy was everywhere, and yet they still quote from him all the time. The Millions
They
Now Living book, they quote from that thing a
Yeah, they
lot.
recently actually had a video on the broadcast about Millions Now Living Will Never Die. I couldn't believe. I was like, what? I couldn't believe they were actually mentioned that book.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't understand. So, um, I like what someone says here. SD says, Jehovah's Witnesses have their own definitions and language. Yes, they
Yes.
do. Yeah. So
The playbook.
the playbook for prosecutors in America is the Australian Royal Commission.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You're correct.
Sure. Yep.
And not just that, it's the playbook. I mean, if they got their literature and sat down and read their literature, and, you know, Garrett Loesch does a talk, and he says to be truthful for those who deserve it. And anybody that's been a witness knows that's code for be truthful only with Jehovah's Witnesses in good standing. Everybody else you can lie and deceive.
Mm-hmm.
And they consider that theocratic warfare.
Yep.
So when they lie in courts, they don't think they've done anything wrong.
Yeah. And then CJ says every week there's only recycled talks. Yeah, and you noticed that too. Like a long time ago, you noticed that
when it's time to talk about Russell.
So many months go by and they bring back like the same experience that someone had, but they would change it up.
Different
like with
names.
A different name, supposedly with a different person, but it was really the same. It was the same experience, but you know, it's probably not even a true situation anyways. Yeah, we're just reading the comments.
Yeah. There might be some cognitive dissonance.
Arthur says there might be some cognitive dissonance with the brothers in the writing departments, so they just ignore how the old book proves that they are making up stuff or adjusting it as they go along.
Yeah, because you don't. The thing is, and this, in all fairness, when you found out that everything you believed your whole life, and because most people were born in or had converted and been in for years, and everything they held as value to themselves, everything they worked for, everything that they believed in was a lie. That's a bitter pill to swallow, and it's hard. You'll make up reasons for it not to be a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll get angry, you'll get mad. So when they get mad and angry and start ranting and raving, I like to talk to them sometimes. I probably shouldn't, but I'd like to just to play around to see their reactions. And it helps me to learn and perfect my skills to talk to them later on in person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's, if you take, I can't be mad at them or treat them bad, but it helps me to find reason. And it's hard to reason with someone like that.
Yeah. Jeanette says she was glad to hear that my husband didn't fall for the Bible study conversion.
Yeah.
His story gave me a chuckle. Yeah, yeah, that's good. I know, because I mean, you just start using your own critical thinking skills, because first of all, he didn't lose them. He had them to begin with. So listening to them, what he was able to use his own mind. Whereas if you're already brainwashed because you were born in, for example, it's harder for you to get out of that mind control if you've been controlled from the beginning, like I was.
Well, I think a lot of it had to do with being surrounded at an early age by so many different denominations. But yet, my father being an agnostic was a big help in that, even though it might sound crazy to someone who's a Christian. But I went to Catholic church some with my grandmother, went to a Baptist school most of my school years. And the other half of my family were Latter-day Saints. So I was exposed to that. And then my mother and my mom and dad divorced when I was very young. My mother moved away, but she was a holiness. Uh, so I was, exposed to a large variety of different religions. So it gave me an idea of what they all done, and I didn't really judge them because I didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew the Bible because of all those years in a Baptist school being taught the Bible.
Yep.
And then, I looked at it as a history book more than I did a religious view, which
Mm-hmm.
now I see that, it's very inspiring to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Some stories are better than others, I guess.
Well,
In
I
the
mean,
Bible.
yeah, that's true. But what it done when they started studying with me, and they were so different than anything I'd ever heard, it was like, what? So then I started researching and studying and researching and studying. And then I realized it was full of crap. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, and then I started really studying then.
Yeah.
Oh, who was this? CJ?
CJ says, I don't think I was mad. I was just, yeah. And I think that's a good way to look at it too. Just, it's a way to learn how different people believe, and, what goes through their mind, and like, well, why do you believe this way?
Yeah.
Um, Arthur says, last year I was pleasantly surprised that the elder I studied with back in 2007 for a couple of years woke up during the pandemic. Wow. Stepped down as an elder, and now he and his wife are both PMOs.
All
Physically
right.
in, mentally out. So, do you know if they're able to just totally leave, or do they have like family in it and that's why they stay? Like physically in?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, I'd like to know that. Jeff says, I worked with a couple Pentecostal holiness. It was interesting talking to them. Yeah,
Oh,
I would say to me, they seem a bit on the cultish side, like, because
yeah.
they do have a really strict dress code. I mean, I think the women have to wear long skirts all the time. They can't ever wear pants, and they're not allowed to wear makeup. And I think they have to have long hair. No,
Yeah, and they put it in
in a bun,
my dad always called it a holy knot, but
a holy knot. Yeah, yeah. So they have some like a fairly strict dress code. I don't really know what else, but they did seem a little strict to me.
yeah.
I don't think they do shunnings though, do they?
I don't know. I really, like I said, I
Yeah.
told my mom, I went with her a couple of times, and I told her at that point in my life I didn't believe in a lot of things. And, I just went out of respect to her, and then I told her I didn't want to be a part of that. So
Yeah.
I know it bothered her, but I still love my mom,
Right, right. So, um, so did you find anything else out about the
Yeah.
money?
Yeah, what did this lady say? Or person, man,
Oh,
gentleman?
Okay. Arthur said they stayed for the social aspects of the congregation for the moment. They don't have relatives in the organization, so they're just staying
Oh,
for socializing.
okay.
I mean, what is there to socialize about? You just don't have anything in common.
Well, my phone died. I had all the information
Here.
on it.
Oh.
But yeah, there's a lot of things I found out
You
about
can
that. And
look it up on here.
yeah, we could. But they're basically playing a shell game. I mean, even though it's a shell, it's an umbrella corporation. The Jehovah's Witnesses are funneling money off. And I really think that this international realtor is going to be a big help in trying to help them funnel off some money. But like I said, if I'm thinking it, I know the legal system's already thinking it. And the stuff in Pennsylvania will be hitting very soon. And the governing body will be subpoenaed for that. So
And you know when
that'll
this
be
is gonna
interesting.
take place? When?
It'll happen within the next year or two, whenever the state of Pennsylvania finishes up what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and these court cases can drag on a while.
Well, that district attorney they have there in the state representative that's going against this is really a tough one. So
Yeah.
it's going to happen. It's not just.
It's a matter of
It's
time.
definitely going to happen.
Yep. Yeah. So.
And I think they even made an announcement that they would hold the people in charge responsible. So that right there takes your governing body and your board of directors both right there. So
And are all of the governing body members going to be subpoenaed?
well, they would have to be, or the ones that are in control, because it's like anything else. The governing body are going to have a hierarchy, just like the board of directors have a hierarchy.
Yeah.
So, but everybody will be held that's on that board will be personally held liable, as well as the corporation.
Right.
So that'll end the corporation. You can bet you they don't have billions of dollars sitting around.
Yeah.
All their assets would be gone, and they can't do it because once that corporate veil is broken, when the judge orders to break that corporate veil, then they have all of their umbrella corporations there, and any money that's been funneled off to another company like a international realty company or something like it's going to be exposed, because you can't just take a chunk of money and move it without a record of it. Then that's very, very illegal. That's racketeer. What is it called? The RICO Act. So that'd really be a big one.
Oh, I know. I wonder if they will disappear with the money. I know.
I have thought that actually.
That is so funny.
Yep.
Yeah, even if they can survive paying the money in Pennsylvania, the floodgates are going to open with other states.
That's the point.
That's
yes.
True.
Well, New York's right behind it. I mean, Zelkin, the Zelkin law firm's going after this too, and it's just taken forever to get there. But he is doing something. So
that's good.
Oh, and then I forgot about Washington State's going to go after them, and then you got Montana, who I think they've already paid some out to Montana, but then there's some other stuff going on. So there's a lot of things going on, and then you got other countries that they have to worry about. And then Japan's coming up. If they lose that in Japan, that's really bad. So,
yeah, true.
So we'll see. Oh, and guess who appealed?
Who?
Norway.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. They did.
Yeah.
And
so now it goes to the Supreme Court in Norway. And so I think the Jehovah's Witnesses rejoiced just a little too soon.
Yeah. So I guess that'll be another ongoing battle.
What was that? No sword forged? I wonder if they ever
no
say that when every time they have to pay out for
us.
these awful CSA cases. Every time they pay out, if they keep saying that to themselves.
Yeah. It's funny. I know. Okay, Arthur says that can they subpoena the governing body members legally? The governing body members don't have any corporate leadership there as of January 2001.
Absolutely, yes. That is, they can subpoena them because they is enough written information and enough information from their videos and their literature to prove they are the ones in control and telling people to follow them and to listen to them and to follow their lead, because they are the mouthpiece for Jehovah God on earth. Mm-hmm. So that right there opens them up to all liability in itself.
Yeah,
I actually researched that just recently. I researched the heck out of it, and I asked a lawyer.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
then
so
that
that's
means that they would be held
they're absolutely
responsible.
responsible. Once
Yeah.
they said they are the mouthpiece for Jehovah God, and people should follow their lead, that opens them up immediately.
But they also say that they're not
They're not fallible,
infallible. Yeah.
right?
They're not infallible.
Right.
That's
So
right.
it doesn't matter. They're still saying follow them and to listen to what they say.
Yeah.
So it's the point of them saying follow us, listen to what we say.
Right. Now Arthur says that Garrett Loesch had mentioned that he didn't answer to Watchtower. I know. I've
And that
actually
doesn't matter.
I've read that, and yeah, they can say whatever they
Yeah.
want as later, but
Yeah.
that's not how the organization is set up.
Right.
You know. So.
And what
I
he's
don't
saying
know.
is technically not a lie. He
Yeah.
doesn't answer to Watchtower.
No, he is Watchtower.
Right. Well, actually,
Sort
he
of.
answers, I guess, to the Pulpit Association or one of those. He answers to the one of the corporate umbrellas.
So would they have to actually like change the whole structure of the governing body and say we are not this mouthpiece?
There's
of
no way
Jehovah?
that they could change it unless they just started saying, don't follow us and don't listen to us.
Yeah.
Because every time they tell
They don't
people to
want to.
follow them and listen to them, that puts them liable.
Yeah, yeah, and then one of the new governing body members, I think it is, and I can't remember his name, with the glasses.
Oh, yeah.
And he's maybe like
Weird looking guy.
Yeah, in his 50s. He said that they don't have to get it right every time,
And they don't have to apologize.
They don't have to apologize for getting it wrong on some things. So I'm like, what? I mean, I just wonder how many other people who are PMEs physically and mentally and are wondering about this, like questioning, like, why did he say that? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the sad thing is the normal rank and file don't even know what's going on. Yes, that's
Yeah,
true. Thank you,
true.
CJ. Oh, hi, Cindy. First time catching you live. Oh, yay.
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Plausible deniability. Yep. Is true. Yeah. Can you just reading the comments? Yeah. Jeff Windsor.
Jeff Winder. No apology, guy.
Jeff Windsor. Yeah. Windsor? Winder. Okay. Yeah. It's hard. Sorry. Trying to keep up with all the new people. They've been adding on.
Well, they added on that guy, too, that's also the realtor. That's interesting.
What about Stephen Lett's relative? Is he?
I like that. They learned from United Nations.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to help them
tactics.
because it's been tried before, and they're not the first. And there's a lot of big industries tried it, even big companies. I read something that kind of shocked me. Monsanto was actually sued, and they won one of the lawsuits, but lost the other one when they had to release their actual corporate veil. And that's when people found out they got into the cannabis business really big. That's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
So they own a company called Hawthorne Corporation and a lot of other things, which is Miracle Grow, I think. I was like, wow. Yeah, it's interesting how some of these lawsuits can really make a big turn.
Yep.
So, but Jehovah's Witnesses openly admitting, their governing body admitting that they're in control and writing it in their literature, telling people to follow them, telling people to listen to them, to follow their lead, that puts them 100% liable. So if you're telling people that you're the authority, you're God's chosen spokespeople on earth, you're liable.
Yeah. That is true.
What is who's?
That's it.
Oh. So what's the questions now?
Nothing.
I'm shot with you without a word to say. I guess your mother got you discombobulated.
Well, she thinks she left her purse here, so.
Did she?
Maybe I have to go check.
Is she already at your sister's?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know.
I hope she ain't coming back.
Sorry.
Because I talk loud and she could probably hear outside.
Nah. I know. Just how many people here like have have family in it and they're able to still talk to their family and you're just faded and inactive, but they don't know what you believe. I wonder if there's some people here that have that situation. That's kind of my situation.
Say hey.
This is Joey. He's
Okay,
wanting to say
okay.
hi. He's real sweet.
Yeah.
Yes. yes.
He's a Cavacorgi.
He's beautiful. Yeah. So.
Say hey to everybody.
Yep, this is Joey. He's gonna say hello. Him and his big giant paw hands. That's what we call them, paw hands.
Because he can grab with
They're
them.
really big.
Oh, that was a big burp.
He just had dinner.
All right, can you get down and just like sit on the floor for a little bit?
Okay.
Oh, you want near? Okay.
All right. Okay.
Oh, hand me your phone.
Okay. So you still have siblings in it. All right. Yeah. So do they just think that you're inactive? And this
Like your uncle.
like faded. Yay! Hi, Joey.
He faded, moved to a different part of the country. Some people still don't know I left. It's kind of funny. Oh, good.
That's good. Some people don't know.
Kind of like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it helps if you don't live close by.
Yeah.
Like you can have family in it and they can like never know that you just stopped going because you don't live nearby. And if you go to visit them, I mean, you might have to go to the Kingdom Hall. I don't know if you can find like, does anybody have any recommendations?
Esty says hi, Joey.
Does anyone have recommendations on how to avoid going to the Kingdom Hall if you know, like if you're visiting your family who's in it or your friends and they want to go to the Kingdom Hall, do you just go with them or do you find a way to get out of that? What do you say? That's been kind of my challenge for me. Do you think the order governing body would...
And throw the newbies under the bus? Absolutely think so.
Would step down. Oh, yeah.
And the funny thing is, the guy who acts the dumbest is probably the smartest. Let would walk away no matter what, smelling like a rose.
Yeah, he's probably the smartest one.
Yeah, he's got a very profitable business investment company with his realty.
Yeah.
Well, his family.
I love this one picture that I found on... I think I found it online somewhere, but although it doesn't matter now, and I can't share my screen with you, so I'm just going to show you on my
Not this week, next week.
Does anybody like that? I love that.
Oh, yeah.
So funny. So, although we don't have Anthony Morris anymore, but...
I miss him. He always give me something to laugh about.
Yeah, I know.
And Loesch always acts so mean.
Loesch?
Yeah.
Well, they have him like military type, you know? Yeah. It's funny.
Anthony Morris acted crazy mean. It was funny.
Okay, Jeff says, if someone were to invite me to the Kingdom Hall, I'd just say, I need my space. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I like that.
Hi, Teach Yahweh.
Oh, is that who that was?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I was curious with Teach Yahweh, were you ever a Jehovah's Witness? Or were you just, or do you like to, because I know you like to teach people about the Bible and then you disprove, you know, other well, Jehovah's Witnesses, for example, or cults. So I was just curious, if your background was Jehovah's Witness at all. I have never been a JW. I love to study. That's how I know all this stuff. Okay, cool. I was wondering. Melissa says, I still have family in. I faded over 35 years ago. They still speak to me. But they still invite me to the meetings. I have not gone in years. When my mom changed congregations, I just did not go. Okay. And then she doesn't pressure you to keep going?
Yeah, because yours does. Woof.
Well, she doesn't pressure me. She's just like, hey, you want to go to the Kingdom Hall with me while I'm here?
Are you going to the memorial? Are you going to the whatever?
She just asked me questions about it.
Trying to guilt you into it.
Oh, okay. So, Delivery 7 says, only visit when there's no meetings and then get out of there before their next meeting. My mom's calling. I have to.
Okay, well, step out there and answer.
I got to take care of business. He's going to take over.
Yeah. Well, how? You got to have your phone.
Well, you can look at the comments.
How you going to talk to her?
I will in a minute.
Well, that's a new one on me. All right, let me put my glasses on and start reading. Teach Yahweh the biggest struggle you have being a Christian and not a JW anymore. Oh, yeah. What's the biggest struggle you have being a Christian, not a JW anymore? Not really a struggle. Don't know. My wife, have to ask her, but
What now?
what's the biggest struggle you have being a Christian and no longer a JW?
Oh, a struggle?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Only visit when there's
Well,
meetings.
a struggle being a Christian or a struggle being an ex-Jehovah's Witness, I guess. I guess is the question. Because it's not really a struggle anymore.
Yeah, because
More
it
of
was a struggle being in that.
It's more of a struggle being a witness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me answer
Yeah, you're
this.
going to have to go call her.
Okay.
All right. Hurry back.
Uh-huh.
Please. Well, guys, like I was saying about the corporate veil, the Jehovah's Witnesses, without the corporate veil to protect them, and now born again Bible believers. Yes, that's me. You know, I hope they can't hear this, mother-in-law. But now you hear our dogs. The thing about that, with them trying to hide things and to funnel things out, if they get caught doing something really shady, especially being that they're a not-for-profit organization, that is called the RICO Act, and they do not want no part of that. That's anybody caught on those are federal charges, and they're gone. That's a give me. They don't come and get you with that one unless they got you, and that's an easy one to get got on. So I like that, to get got on. Okay, but these guys, like I said, they know the writings on the wall, and they're doing everything they can to sell off extra things that's become a liability to them. They've sold Kingdom Halls around here. They've sold them in another area we were in. They've downsized. They've put more congregations together. So they know, they see it, and they're trying to get as much money as they can together. And then again, they're playing like the hide the shell game. You know, where's the pea under the shell? And it's just all it takes is a federal judge or a judge in general to break the corporate veil, and then they have to give over all their information, and then bank statements, everything, and then all their corporations shown. Memorial in person. Shoot. I wanted to go to Memorial just to see some people, but I feel like I have a personal problem with the Memorial. I think to not partake and to pass the sacraments is satanic, because you're denying Christ when you do that. And Christ said to drink of my blood and eat of my flesh. And he didn't mean just the disciples. He meant for everyone from that point forward who is a Christian. So it's, it's personal to me. So I refuse to go. I mean, I would have liked to have saw some people there and got to talk to some people just for the nosy part of it. But I guess I'll wait and go to the convention and get watched like I did last time. There you are, you're back. So what's the deal still? They coming this way to get it?
No.
Good.
Tomorrow.
Yay.
Yay. Goodness.
Your mom's always leaving stuff.
She's the most forgetful person ever.
Next to you.
No. Not as bad. I'm not as bad.
So, yeah, that's why I don't go to I don't go to the memorial.
Yeah.
It's Satanist.
Well, yeah, maybe it's like rejecting,
It's rejecting Christ. And
right. You pass the bread and the wine.
Yeah.
And you refuse. Although I know that their theory as well, it's 144,000 that get to partake, but that's not what the Bible says. So.
Right.
The Bible says.
There again, when they're cherry picking in Scripture and taking it out of context. So.
Right. Did you get to read?
I haven't read none of this.
Okay, so. Melissa says that her mom is deceased now. My sisters would ask me why I was not going to the meetings, right? And I would just not answer. That's good. I have learned all these things I did not know about this religion in the last couple of years.
Hmm.
So you just don't answer. Okay.
I like
Arthur
it.
says he went to the memorial in person this year. It was nice to catch up with the friends in the congregation. I was never baptized, not disfellowshipped. Local JWs are not aware of my involvement with Exjw Activism online. So I'm more than welcome to go to the meetings and
What was this one up
participate.
here?
Okay. That's all.
Okay.
And then Raymond Franz's In Search of Christian Freedom that's a good book.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is.
we have Crisis of Conscience.
Anything
We
by
didn't
Raymond
get
Franz.
that other book, but it's one I should probably read.
Let's see.
I agree with that. So
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Oh gosh, I was going to tell them about our experience going to the convention. It's been right after COVID. We went, and there was not very many people there. It was kind of weird seeing that because the first time I went to a convention, there was quite a few people. It was packed. This time there
Yeah.
was plenty of places to sit. But on top of that, we had elders that were sitting around watching us, and they had sat around us, kind of. It was really weird. I don't know if it's because I was taking pictures.
No, we weren't really taking.
Well, we didn't have a name tag.
No, we didn't have a name tag. We
So-
went to the assembly in 2023, not last year, the year before.
Right.
And of course, you have to have a name tag, ideally, at the regional convention. We weren't doing anything suspicious.
I did take a few pictures.
So what? That's normal. And
Yeah.
then for some reason, some attendant decided to take a picture of you, right?
Of us both.
Both of us.
Yeah.
And
And then they started sitting around us. I noticed it was like an elder with no by themselves. I was like, it's kind of obvious.
it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, they just act all suspicious and stuff. And
we weren't there to crash
we
a
weren't doing
convention.
anything.
Yeah.
We just went there to listen to see what the drama was like, because we went in to watch the drama.
Yeah.
And we wanted to see about how many people were there. And then 2023, where we went, there was only around 4,000 people in attendance on a Sunday. And I remember when they had 9,000 and 10,000 people in attendance. So it's definitely a lot less than it used to be.
That was half.
Yeah.
If what I understood, the last one was even less. So,
Mm-hmm.
What was this?
Oh, In Search of Christian Freedom debunks JW doctrine from a biblical standpoint.
Oh, okay.
It's a great book, very well documented, and not dogmatic. So that's great.
Yeah, Raymond Franz was a really interesting guy. He
Mhm.
knew what he was talking about
Yeah, really, really smart.
from the inside out. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if someone in the top leaves, then why would you need to start questioning your beliefs?
Yeah. He's not the first one to ever leave.
You mean of the governing body members?
Yeah, I just recently saw something about that.
I thought he was the only one that left of the governing body. Now, there have been others that have left that weren't governing body members.
No, I think there's another one.
Who?
I'm not sure. I have to look it up, but it was a long time ago. But yes, I'm
Okay,
not sure.
well, you'd have to find out who that is. But,
Well, Fisher left, but officially he left, but unofficially the Watchtower still claims him. So I don't know.
and now tell us who Fisher was.
Oh, he was one of the guys that was with Rutherford and went to prison with Rutherford. He wrote a lot of the unfinished mystery, or wrote a whole chapter of it, book of it.
Okay, and then he left.
Right, and if you get the transcripts of the court hearings, Fisher talks about in those transcripts.
George Fisher.
Yeah, that he
Thank
didn't.
you.
Basically, they asked how much of Russell's writings were used, and he says, "Oh, there was just some notes." And basically, he said maybe a paragraph, and he wrote a whole chapter.
Wow. Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, that is. Well, they pick and choose what they want to talk about,
Or
and
not a whole chapter, but a whole.
they lie
book.
constantly. Like Jeff says,
Chapter,
what
yeah.
got him was Raymond Franz was that he was nothing like how Watchtower described him. Are you sleepy?
Oh, I am actually. I didn't sleep really much.
Okay. um. Yeah. So of course, Watchtower's going to demonize him and act like he's the scum of the earth. I don't
Yeah.
know what they said about him. Like, what was their explanation to say, well, why Raymond left? They would have to come up with something really good, I would think, for the
All we have
member.
to do is get those watchtowers. We got tons of them right there.
Yeah,
There's
like why did he?
bound volumes.
What did they say was the reason that he left?
What year did he leave? 80 what?
Like 1980, I want to say it was.
There's
like,
bound volume of it right there.
1980. So they would have had to demonize him. But of course, I don't know what that was, and I'll have to go read up on it.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to say what it was, if they know specifically what it was that they had said. Yeah, I mean, right. JW culture is that he was always spoken of as evil and vengeful. But I mean, like, that's it? I mean, what else did they say other than that? I mean, why did they think that? Oh, because he left the organization. Okay, why did he leave? They didn't publish anything. Okay. They didn't publish anything official except the August Kingdom Ministry stating that he is no longer on the body in the 1980. That's it. Right. Wow.
Huh.
Okay.
I figured they wouldn't do something like that, It would be too much of a stain on them.
Sorry, now he has to take a break.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, he'll be right back. He was his fellowship in late 1981. Okay. Right. So that sounds, yeah, I knew it was like early 80s. But what's weird about it is how they can just say, well, he's evil and he left the governing body. Well, but they never actually officially said why. I mean, I guess what happens is Jehovah's Witnesses are like, what? He left? Oh, he's of the devil. And they probably don't even question anything else after that. Jeff says he knows a Bethelite who was at Bethel right after the JW purge. He spoke of Franz like he was dangerous. Hard to describe, but it was a weird vibe how he spoke of him right after the Franz purge. Okay. So yeah, I mean, they just tell, I guess, the leaders, they can tell you anything they want, even if it's about their own governing body members, and you'll believe it. You'll believe whatever it is. They haven't demonized Anthony Morris, obviously, because I do believe Anthony Morris is a brainwashed believer to some extent, and I don't think he was okay with all of their changes, like women wearing pants and men can have beards and they don't have to have suit and tie anymore, and you don't have to count time. That's a lot of stuff that's changed, and it's been like that from the beginning for like the last 100 years or more, and now they're gonna change all that. It's probably hard for him to deal with, and they had to get rid of him to some degree. Yep. And oh, okay. Arthur says, I've even recently read on JW Talk how active witnesses demonized Ray. Oh, it's so sad because I watched some YouTube videos with him and he seems like such a nice man, And he never even talked bad about the other governing body members, which is just so cruel how they treated him. And yet he didn't retaliate. He was still such a kind man. Even talking positive about some of them, like Daniel Sidlick. I still think Morris has his memoir ready for publishing posthumously. Yes, I agree. Like maybe he does have a little memoir ready to be published after he dies. I like that. I was going to the hall when Franz was when he left. I think they said he was an apostate. Yeah. They say, of course. I mean, that's why he got disfellowship, because he was an apostate. And actually, I just had an interview with a former elder who was also of the anointed, which was really interesting to hear his story. And in the end, they deemed him apostate as well. I met Ray in person in 2007 when he came to Romania. Oh, wow. How cool. And he was a loving person, all. There was a bit of a frenzy amongst Jehovah's Witnesses in the 1980s, yes. And also, that was like the early 80s. It was like after that whole 1975 fiasco, a lot of people left. And I think they were just not sure what to do. They were purging, like you say. And well, a lot of people were leaving, so I guess they probably were trying to make up some lies on how to salvage their religion, which they weren't able to, and they were able to get people from other countries and other areas that they didn't have before to make it grow. But then now, of course, now there's a big, huge exit because of YouTube, and then all of the literature that's found online exposing Jehovah's Witnesses and their false teachings. It's everywhere. So all you have to do is a quick little brief search, and you're going to be able to find out the truth about that religion.
As sure as the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, I can prove that there's no such thing as anointed.
Yeah. I know, because that's how they claim that they're anointed. As sure as the sun rises tomorrow.
Yeah.
I know, I feel it inside me, right? That's what, but you can't prove it, so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Arthur says it was precisely your interview with Daniel that I was watching before catching the live stream. Oh, good. Thank
cool.
you. Yeah, Daniel, he has a book about his story, and lots of research that he put into his book. It's called Believing the Lie.
Yeah.
By Daniel Torridon. And I did see that it's on Amazon if someone wants to get it. And he is very good at researching, and that's why he woke up. He would read all of the old literature, and when you do that, you're gonna know that this is not adding up.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at so far.
Okay, so now I'm all caught up.
Yeah, we're all caught up. And
so what do you guys think about the lawsuits coming their way?
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to know what everybody out there thinks about that. About the Pennsylvania lawsuits. I guess Washington State's got one coming. And
yep. And
New York.
And then, of course, there's the other countries.
Right. Other countries coming.
Netherlands and Norway.
Well, Netherlands just took away
Australia.
their...
New Zealand.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about New Zealand. Yeah, that's coming. That storm's brewing. So, yeah. Right. What was this?
Oh, Teacher always says, I was there to confront them.
Oh, nice.
That's good.
Yeah.
And, so there's Montana, of course. That's another ongoing.
Isn't there something going on in Texas as well right now? I think there is.
I'm not sure. Maybe someone might know if there's a Texas lawsuit. Maybe.
Yeah, I think there is.
It'll be interesting to see how and if the governing body is able to hide all the legal issues from the rank and file. That's true.
They're going to try. That's guaranteed. Don't believe what you see in the media. They do all the time. Don't listen to what you hear. Only listen to the channel that Jehovah God has given you. And we know what that channel is.
Right. So I think it all depends on how brainwashed the rank and file are. I mean, yes, of course, they're brainwashed, but how brainwashed are they? Because you still have some people who are going to question. I mean, that's why people leave, right? Because they start wondering if this is really true.
It will open up the floodgates. You're correct.
Yeah, it'll open up the floodgates.
And they will lose. That's the fact. There's no, at this point in history, in this point in time, after what happened to the Catholic Church with all their power and their money, and they couldn't stop it, these guys can't.
Yeah, that's true. I know that's what they're going to say, but I'm curious if it'll stick this time, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be hard to hide this.
Yeah.
But it's going to, you know what's going to happen though? Think about this. If they lose all of this and they have to file, they'll end up losing the corporation. It'll, once they break the corporate veil and they see all the assets and stuff that's been hidden, and all the people that's going to be liable, from lawyers and governing body members and board of director members, and the organization will be bankrupt. There's nothing they can do. I mean, they don't have but just what, a little over $1 billion. They don't have enough money to handle it. They would have to sell all their assets, everything, and then they're left with nothing. So they'd walk away broke even, maybe at best, and that means that there's nothing left. So the people that's in that believe it are going to be devastated. It could be like Jonestown all over.
Yeah, Melissa says she never thought that this organization would have had these cases against them. Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that they hide the, predators, I'll just say that, and the fact that they take money, and they don't use it the way they're supposed to for a nonprofit organization or nonprofit charity, because that's what churches are supposed to be under. So, and then their shunning policy, which they've gotten sued over that too. It's just, and then they're so stubborn. They will not comply. They will not apologize. Say, we're sorry that we let our children be abused and we didn't do anything about it. And, but because they don't care about their own members, they don't care about the children, they don't care about the women who get,
They obviously don't care.
Yeah. Who are in abusive situations.
Yeah.
And they don't care about
if
shunning.
a woman's in an abusive situation, they tell her to stay? That's crazy.
Yeah, and to be more submissive and to be,
Yeah.
It's her fault, basically, that he's mean to her and that she would have to do
That's
to be
wickedness.
more compliant with his wishes and stuff like that. It just makes no sense, really.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I'd just like to know everybody's thoughts about that. What do they think about them in all these cases and how it's going to affect everybody?
Yeah. If their empire crumbles, I still wonder in the back of my mind if they'll go to the People's Temple. Like Jim Jones, the People's Temple.
I love it.
Yeah, well, I mean, who's to say that the governing body wouldn't say, you need to take these pills, and go to sleep, and you'll wake up in paradise because...
yeah, but maybe you hadn't done enough. Ask any Jehovah's Witness, they'll tell you they don't think they've done enough.
Yeah, they might not be ready for that pill.
Yeah, they might not. They might cease to exist.
Yeah,
they're like, okay,
they're never gonna be ready. They're just like, oh, wait a second, I didn't study for the meeting. Let me do that first, and comment, and go out and field service.
Just so you know, I used to ask them just to see what they'd say because I read somewhere one time, or actually, I think I saw JT talk about it. They've never done enough. Yeah, I think it was.
You always feel that you've never.
And I was like, what? So I started asking them, and they was like, oh, yeah, if something happened, I might not make it. I hope I do. It's like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
I can tell you don't follow the same God I want to follow.
Yeah, they feel equal to God. I know, because I actually I watched a video on that too about one of the governing body helpers saying that the governing body is equal to Jesus.
Oh, I saw that just recently,
I thought, man, that is blasphemy.
Yeah.
So, Melissa, you just learned out about all this, and you're not sure if you should tell your sisters. You don't know how they will react.
Be careful.
Be careful with that. I mean, a lot of times
she tried this.
Well, when you are first waking up is what we call it, when you first realizing some of the lies you've been taught, the first thing you want to do is tell everybody, that and you can't do that. You will run them away and you may lose them. So you just have to hold your tongue, and sometimes there may be the right moment to say certain things, but you have to be really careful with your words, and you have to only what we call throw tidbits to them.
Yeah.
And what tidbits those are, I mean, that's a hard one too, because you might could say about 1914 not adding up. Actually did that with my friend Jennifer.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story. So a friend of mine, she used to be a friend of mine, JW friend, and I had been chatting with her on Messenger maybe in the last year or so. And she is what I would call her physically out, mentally in. And so she's been out for a while. She's been living, in the world. But she wants to go back to the Kingdom Hall. So she was going because her father's in it. And so she's never really been mentally out. And so I was telling her about this whole 1914 thing. I thought, well, maybe maybe she's questioning things because she's not really in it. She's been inactive for so long. But she is thoroughly brainwashed into believing this. And I was telling her about 1914 not adding up. And she told me, I don't care. She basically said she didn't care that about that, because she still believed it was true, believed whatever the organization taught, even though 1914 wasn't adding up, and she just didn't care that didn't add up. So you have people like that too, that are just going to ignore you anyways, even if you have evidence. So it's gonna be something that you would have to be really careful about sharing. It has to be very small tidbits just to make them think, and that's about it. And the rest will have to be on them. And it might take someone else that isn't family to make them question, because that usually works better, I think.
Yeah, and you're right, Teach Yahweh. We do need to really, everybody band together and try to get their own channel and go after Watchtower to expose them.
Yeah.
Like David and Goliath.
Yeah. Yeah, you could show your sister that you have a normal life and you're content. They always taught us
That's
how
true.
sad our life would be outside the organization. It's true. It's crazy how Pomies defend JW to the end, even though they aren't even practicing it. I know, I don't get it. And you know what's crazy about this girl? She couldn't get reinstated because she was smoking cigarettes.
Oh yeah, Jennifer.
And I was like, okay. She's like, she couldn't quit. She had an addiction to it. Okay, I understand. I said, well, just tell him you quit. I mean, well, if you really want to get in, don't tell him the truth.
But then she got mad at it because she was like, why would you want to be in?
Yeah, but anyways, that whole conversation went a little weird.
Well, she was crazy.
Yeah, that's why you you removed yourself, CJ. Okay. Interesting. Put it in a question. That's a good point. When I was a POMI for years, I would defend Watchtower. Yeah, and I do think people who are POMIs will, because they haven't had given themselves to a chance to become deprogrammed from the religion. I mean, what's going to deprogram you? You have to do your research to get deprogrammed from that. And until you do that, you're still going to always believe in some of it. And there are people who may not do research and wake up because they don't like how they're being treated. And that's one of the things too. Like, if you are claiming to be Christian, as Jehovah's Witnesses claim, they say, the Bible says that you will know my people by their fruits, right? Well, Jehovah's Witnesses don't produce good fruits, not with all their shunning and their harsh ways. They're definitely not loving Christians as they claim to be.
It does take time to deprogram.
Yeah,
you're right. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, because there's a lot of things that you've learned. I mean, your whole life.
Yeah, it'll drive you crazy. It's traumatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say for me, it took about 2 years to really come to terms. I was out within a few months. Like, I knew it wasn't true, but it took me a while to adjust to this thinking, because I call it a grieving process.
Funny.
And most grieving processes are 2 years anyways.
Funny story. is I used to like to watch a lot of different XJW videos when I was trying to learn more about the organization and see how it worked.
Mhm.
And I'm watching this video, and this lady's on there. And Casey says, I think I know that girl.
Oh, right. Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, what? It
Yeah.
was Sister Fister. I don't know if any of you guys know who she is,
Yeah.
but they actually knew each other from when they were young teenagers and
Yeah.
lived in the
Small
same
world.
small town. And yeah,
Mhm.
that's funny. And now she lives like 2 blocks away,
I can walk to their house.
and we live far away from there, so it's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Jeff says he woke up from critical thinking. XJW
Oh
critical
yeah,
thinking before
man, Lady C
yeah.
and C and JT are
JT,
great.
Lady C. Yeah, what I
Yeah.
also was watching them too on my was waking up. And the thing that I liked that JT said was that the generation of 1914 will not pass away. He showed that Watchtower or Awake article,
Yeah.
and I and then he realized that, hey, you know what? The generation is passing away, or it did pass away, and they still the end never came. So I like that article, and that's what I think can help people wake up.
Also, I don't know if you guys ever saw Screwed Generation. That guy was really good too in the very beginning when I first started studying and studying about the organization.
Jeff says it took you 48 hours. It wasn't true. 48 hours. Wow. It was hard going through the process of realizing how much JW was still all over me. It was like washing it off of myself. Yeah. I mean, it took me a couple of months, I would say, to really wake up. Maybe,
Right.
what would you say, like maybe 4 or 5 months?
To really wake up,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
From the time that we first started, like,
but you would
questioning.
still get caught up in it. I would say a year was when you really was done.
No, it didn't take me that long. It took me probably 6 months, but then to like realize it was not true. But then like
Oh
I
yeah,
mean I
that's
knew
probably true.
it
Yeah,
wasn't a year. It was about 6 months.
yeah, but you would
But
still say
I
things
had
sometimes.
problems.
Yeah,
It didn't mean I believed that it was true, you know. But then there's the grieving process. Okay, teach Yahweh, you know what's funny, guys? Okay, what is funny? Um, and then, well, yeah, everyone is different. Healthy Habit says, yeah, everyone is different when it comes to waking up process and questioning your beliefs. Some people can do it quickly. Some people it takes longer. And some people have a hard time dealing with all the trauma that goes with that. And also what you might hear some witnesses say when they are questioning their beliefs, but if this isn't true, then where do I go from here? What do I do next? Oh, she says, look at her previous comment from me. Instead, come like David and Goliath. Yeah, Teach Yahweh said that. We need to stop going at it all with swords and spears. Come like David and Goliath. Yeah. That is true. That's true. Oh, no, the other one. I don't know the other one. You know, oh, we need to stop going at it with, well, no, she said that already. I don't know. Okay, sorry. Above healthy habits. I'm trying to find a comment here. Right here.
Oh, there it is. You know what's funny?
Yeah. Yeah, so everyone has a different process time of waking up.
Well, the average.
Yeah.
Oh, when I was a PMO for 8 years ago.
So it just takes a while. You know, some people, I would say most people, it's going to take some time. Because where do you go after this? And that's what JT said. He would say, the people would say, well, where do I go from here? You know, because you do feel all alone, abandoned. You have this so-called support group as a witness in this little bubble that you think makes you feel safe and secure, but it's a false sense of security. It isn't safe because anything can take you out of that bubble. You know, getting shunned for something that you shouldn't be getting shunned for it anyways. People snitching on each other, and I mean, and the elders are the biggest gossipers out there. They're going to tell everybody your business.
Well, one of the things I thought was so weird is when you study with the Jehovah's Witnesses and you go to a Kingdom Hall or anything you do with their literature, it's a questions and answers, but you only get to answer with the answers that's given to you in their publications. You cannot have your own mind and give your own answer. And if
Mm-hmm.
you do, that is not what they want to hear. They'll get upset with you.
Yeah.
So it's definitely the cult mentality. The bite model is full fledged.
Yeah. Okay. So Teach Yahweh says born again Christians are daily dying to self, and yet I noticed we as Christians give no other person coming out any slack. Every day we are dying to self. It's a fight daily. That's why I love the people fresh out, because they're trying and are so scared.
Yeah.
That's true. They are very scared, and I mean, it is scary. I mean, I know myself. I was like, oh my goodness, where do I go from here? Who's going to be my support? Who's going to tell me what to do, say, and think all the time?
Is there anything other than this?
But you're not supposed to have someone tell you what to do, say, and think 24/7. That's why you have free will, so you can make those decisions yourself. And when you come out of this religion, you're like a little baby, and you do feel scared. The answers are what we tell you they are. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't get to choose that yourself with your own mind. Bible reading protects from cult-like groups. And it's what In Search of Christian Freedom says.
I agree with
that.
that.
In the book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though, the list says, even though I left over 35 years ago, I still believed some of it. But I started watching the JT Lady C videos, and this opened my mind. I was born in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, because you can believe, you can be physically out, mentally in, for the rest of your life. Yeah. Keep praying for them. God can accomplish anything, even something we think is impossible.
Yes.
Yeah. It's sad to me to watch these people come out and literally tremble. Makes me cry to see it. That's why I will never ever stop preaching the gospel. Everyone is worth it. Oh, that's true. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's true, because the people are scared, and I would never even tell my mother anything, really, because I know it would scare her.
You tried.
And
you told her about the UN.
I did tell her some things.
Yes. Yeah.
When I was questioning, because
you asked her about 1914.
I found out the UN wasn't true, and I shared that with her. I had proof. I had a copy of that letter, and she just said, well, I don't know, and then she just ignored it. So if you just put it out of your mind and you're going to pretend and you're going to ignore, like everything's great and everything's fine because everybody will take care of me, you're too scared to leave.
Yeah.
And you don't want to even question anything. You don't want anybody to bring any evidence to you, because then you don't know what to do next. And your whole world crumbles, because this is your whole world. You have been waiting for Armageddon to come and the great tribulation to happen and the paradise earth and all of that. So I just, I don't know that some people can handle the truth. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Some people can't handle it.
That's what I'm wondering, what's going to happen to them, because it will fall in your mom's lifetime.
I don't know. I mean, she's older, so I don't really know.
I think it will. I wonder what
possibly.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be there for her.
Yeah. You'll have to be.
Yeah. 4 of my closest friends ever are all fresh ex-Jehovah's Witnesses.
All right.
Oh, that's nice. I protect them as if they're my own children. I see the pain on their faces and their voices daily, and I fight for people like them. And that's great, because that's how we are supposed to be. We're supposed to be kind, loving, welcoming. We're not supposed to condemn
Sign
people.
of a Christian.
Yeah, we're not supposed to condemn people or judge people, because, I mean, they don't know any better. I didn't know any better. I was born in. I believed it to be true. And the only reason I don't believe in it now is because I had evidence to disprove it. I tried showing my mom the UN letter. I was met with great skepticism that it was real. Yeah, I know. It's just sad to see that they're not going to believe. And I'm not sure what I said about. Oh, I think I did ask my mom about some things with 1914, but I wasn't going to share with her too much because it's a tricky situation, and you don't want to be deemed an apostate. You don't want them to think of you as a heretic and of the devil, basically that's what they would think. So
Yeah.
all 4 of my friends have said that exact sentence to MCCLX said that. Yeah. About the UN letter. Yeah. Right. I know. They're like, well, like my mom, she's just like, well, whatever. I mean, I'm just going to hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil, and pretend you didn't even say that.
That's exactly what she does.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes people like to live in their little, their bubble, and they don't want to know the truth, because it scares them. Yeah.
I've often wondered, though, why these people can't just rise above it more easily. But I mean, the more I look into it, the more I see that they're taught these lies and they believe it. But it just seems weird to me because I never was in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you have to.
I was always stubborn. It was going to be
the
way I do things or the highway.
You wouldn't make a good witness, because if they decided to shun him, he'd be like, I don't care.
I don't have family.
What do I got to lose? I mean, I guess if you don't have anyone to lose, like friends or family, then it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
I asked her. Okay, you asked your mother, right? If Jesus is her mediator. Of course she said yes. Then I showed her in Watchtower publication where they said he is only mediator for the 144,000. She still didn't believe it. Why? I mean, they said that. Yeah, that's true. They do teach that. Yeah, that Jesus is only the... Oh, man, that's another good topic. Jesus is only the mediator for the 144,000 who are supposed to be dead by now, right? Yeah, he forgot to turn his phone on. Do not disturb.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, that's fine. We can probably wrap this up now.
Well, no, it's just, I was thinking about something before I was so rudely interrupted with that crazy phone call.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what it was. That's like I was talking to the elders that I studied with here. And we was trying to figure out 1914, and I just told them there's no way that that's possible. And it was like, oh, well, Jesus took the throne in heaven in 1914, and we all know the 1914 teaching. And I was like, well, what do you do with Matthew 28:18? I mean, where does that play into this? Do you guys acknowledge that? Oh, I don't think I've ever read that. I know Matthew 28, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, well, all authority's been given to me on heaven and in earth. Not in 1914, the day he ascended into heaven.
So what did they say after that?
He'd have to get back with me on that. And he never did.
And it's in the Bible, so it's kind of weird that they don't. I actually read that to my mom, too.
Yeah.
And she's just like, yeah, And basically like, well, yeah, he's in heaven waiting until 1914, just, okay, whatever. So reading the Bible doesn't help anyways. Yeah. Melissa says, my sisters keep saying the new system will solve everything when we discuss things going on in the world. Yeah, they do that. Yeah. They do think that anything bad happening, that's because the end is near,
The new system's going to be without Jehovah's Witnesses, though.
Arthur says that there are still over 21,000 memorial partakers. Yeah. Okay, I was wondering what the number is now, because I remember...
But that's because they force people to go.
No. There's 21,000 partaking of the emblems of the 144,000. I remember when it was like 8,000. Now they're going up. I mean, the number's supposed to go down, right? And how many years does it take
But
to
then they say
gather
those people are mentally diseased.
144,000 people? I mean, even if you count 100 years, you can't get 140,000 people, and the other, maybe 4,000 was in the first century. I mean, it's so silly. That's something else that should wake them up,
Yeah.
Crickets when you actually bring up scriptures. It's true. Like, yeah, like they don't know how to
Oh Lord.
argue with you or to make sense of things.
Yeah,
when
he
you
was.
tell them the scriptures.
Well, he was talking to me about, Jehovah, and I was like, I said, so what do you do about Romans chapter 10? And they was like, what do you mean? I'm not familiar. They know chapter 12. They know it real well. He was like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, he says, confess with thy mouth, believe in thy heart that Jesus was is the truth, light, the way, or believe that he's through him we're saved.
Believe in Jesus and you.
Yeah. And if without him, you're not saved. I said, so that means all I have to do is believe in Jesus. I'm saved. I have to confess my sins. I have to believe in Jesus and I'm saved.
And what did
I don't know about that.
Yeah, they just.
I was like, man, I get some weird answers from you guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. The Watchtower used to teach that the anointed class was closed in 1935. So when did they reopen it?
That's true. They did teach that.
Yeah, I think I remember that. So what happened after that?
I guess Noah changed it. He'd had to have been the one.
Yeah. I would rebel and eat the whole life of bread and drink all the wine at the yearly gathering and just stand up and say, I'm one of the 144,000. Y'all need to listen to me and then give the gospel. I know, that's a good one. Actually,
I actually thought about doing that one time.
Oh, really?
I did. I thought about partaking, and then when they said something, I'd be like, hey, I'm doing what God told me to do, or Jesus told me to do.
I saw a memorial crash where there was a man who stood up. He was filming.
He was actually really good about what he did.
Yeah, he stood up and he was filming. This was like 2019, I think. So there was a fair number of people still there. Yeah. And he grabbed the glass of wine and said, this is for all the shunned Jehovah's Witnesses. And he drank some and he ate a piece of bread.
Yeah.
And then they asked him to leave, but he did do it. He was like, this is for all of you shunned Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah. Shunning is not loving. It's not Christian. Yeah. And he was very good about it. He was kind. And
he wasn't mean or aggressive.
Yeah. And the elders, asked him to leave and he said, okay. And then he walked out very nice. He said, y'all have a good night. And they were like, you have a good night too. And they were very nice. And I was like, wow, that's one way to do it.
That's like when they come knocking on the door. I'm not mean to them. I offer them a bottle of water and stuff. But, if they want me to hear them, then I'm going to quote scriptures to them. And they don't like it, then they just leave. But they still want to come back occasionally.
Yeah.
God, I look so much whiter than you on this thing.
Okay, so Arthur says the May 1st, 2007 Watchtower, which was released before the 2007 memorial, that's when they scraped the 1935 cutoff date. And in 2006, there were 8,758 partakers. And then in 2007, there were 9,105. And I guess there's now 21,000. So they just keep going up. It's annoying. It's weird.
I like it.
Oh, do any of the governing body members ever show up in person?
Yes, they do so. Memorials.
Well,
I don't know.
In general, I guess.
Yeah, they show up to conventions.
Well, they usually will give talks in a convention.
Yeah.
I have seen them there myself.
Sam Hurd was in one night just a few years ago. I saw him there.
And they would be at the memorial too. Someone did mention that they saw Stephen Lett at the memorial.
Has anybody ever noticed that the amount of people of all nationalities that are Jehovah's Witnesses and the amount of black people that are Jehovah's Witnesses, but there's only one black governing body member? That's got to feel weird. I mean,
yeah.
That's weird. I've actually thought about that. I was like, Samuel Hurd has got to feel like, have you ever watched South Park? They had a guy called Token. I was like, he's got to feel like that. That is awful.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen some other Exjw channels have talked about that, that he's the token guy.
That's all.
Yeah.
And
Why
they're
no? Yeah. What
they're
about
pointing
other?
you guys, and you're just like,
Someone says, "Why no Asian governing body members or
yeah,
Hispanics or
exact or Hispanics.
yeah?"
Yeah,
There
there's a lot of
should be.
Hispanics.
There's a lot of Hispanics in the religion.
Yeah,
So yeah. I know. Wonder why.
crazy.
So,
I actually
yeah.
sat and thought about that.
Yeah. So, well, I think this has been a good chat and
Well, let's just.
gathering information and.
I wanted to ask people one more thing.
Okay, what do you want to ask?
What is the things that you guys like to hear about the most?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys like to hear about stories about the doctrine? Do you guys like to hear of other people's wake up stories? Here, you might want to read that fast. Woof.
No, it's just they're just saying hi.
Oh, hi. Oh, more people signing up. Wow. Okay.
Oh, okay, great. I'm glad you liked the interview. I know the last one was a little bit long, but Daniel likes to talk a lot.
He's really good too.
But he's good. Yeah, he has a really sounds like a good book too.
So, what do you guys really like to see the most?
Exjw says doctrine.
Okay, doctrine. Okay.
Waking up stories. Daniel
The history.
Great. Okay, so I'm working on interviews. That's my thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And then doctrinal. I would say changes, right? So what they used to believe, what they believe now.
I'm actually working on a video for that.
So he can do like the doctrinal changes.
Yeah.
Waking up stories.
It's actually called Old Light, New Light.
Yeah.
And flip flop doctrine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they do that a lot. I mean, it is crazy. The history of Jehovah's Witnesses and Bible contradictions.
Oh, there's a lot of that. Okay, that'll be a good one.
That would be really good. I mean,
there's a lot of that.
There's a lot of Bible contradictions with Jehovah's Witnesses.
Right now.
First of all, they got their own Bible, anyways, which is Bible scholars would tell you it's not accurate. So, I mean, nobody believes it's a legit Bible, anyways.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's like they had this one guy who was fluent. He was a theologian, fluent. Of course, to be a theologian, he's fluent in Greek, but he's fluent in ancient Hebrew, Greek, and modern Hebrew.
Oh yeah. Back in the 80s, I think.
Yeah, he was in the 80s. Yeah, and he was talking about they used him in one of the articles, and they had misquoted him, and he actually sued them, and they had wrote some stuff in there saying that he approved their Bible, and he says, "I've never approved this. It's not doctrinally correct." It's like it's a great interview. I'll actually find that and post it.
Yeah, we could probably get that. It's like an old interview back in the.
It's 80s.
I want to say early 80s, and I mean, there were some smart people out there back then, and it was harder to get information, because you had just what did you have? The encyclopedias.
Get this. Jehovah's Witnesses recently just posted something in one of their watchtowers. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was something dealing with what they assumed was the name Jehovah, I think. Turns out that it wasn't. But where they got the information from was another Christian organization. This guy's out of Utah, and he is an archaeologist, and he runs a museum for Christian archaeology. And they took his findings and information and put it in their watchtower. That was hilarious. I laughed, my sides hurt when because I was like, I want to find this information. So I Googled it, and what popped up was this guy. I was like, this is hilarious.
And then why would they use his information?
Being that he's another denominational, the
whore of Babylon. The whore of Babylon. Christendom is the whore of Babylon. So why would they believe anything or use any of their information?
A Christian archaeologist.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, but it turns out it wasn't correct. It was just, he was given that as an example. Okay. And it wasn't the name Jehovah. So.
Right. Adrian says, I'm a third generation ex-JW. My wife was never a JW. We've been married for 18 years now and still no Armageddon in sight. That's true. I mean, goodness, they've been saying that from the beginning. So it's been over 100 years. Well, more than that. Since they've been saying Armageddon is coming any day now.
Well, they started that in the beginning. You go back to Jonas Wendell and Stetson and Russell. They were all saying it then.
Oh, cool. MCCLX says that he has his grandfather's interlinear
1260.
the purple Bible. I remember seeing that one from the 60s. It has the Greek to English on one side and the New World Translation on the other. It's interesting and obvious to see where they don't match at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the
And
one I
yet
kept telling you
still, you can't wake a JW up.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of them. We're awake, right?
You can actually wake up quite a few.
Oh, we can wake up a quite a
They're
few.
scared.
Yeah. It's right. That's all it is.
Yeah.
They're just scared. They don't know what to do. Okay, J.R. Manty was the Bible scholar whom they misquoted.
That is correct. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Very smart, Arthur.
Yeah.
Arthur, you know your stuff here. You're quoting
He does.
Watchtowers.
I know.
How many partakers there are. Don't forget to
He's really good.
to mention Jehovah's Witness Watchtower making a studio to be done in 2027
Yes.
in the state of New Jersey, Rampo. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's true. And then like if
Oh,
the
and they have
end
one
is
in
coming, why?
Australia too.
But the end is supposed to be coming, but yeah, they're gonna build all this. I know, craziness. The 1985 interlinear is on the Watchtower Online Library.
Yep.
Cool. I have to. I think I might have seen that.
Huh.
God is waking people up everywhere. Glory to God. He is stronger than any false doctrine.
Yes.
Yeah. Some are awake, but the shunning keeps them stuck.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Scared to leave.
That is so true. Yeah, that's what we're saying. It's just out of fear you stay. And the shunning works. It's so cruel. Yeah. It's true. It's true. It does affect people. I mean, it's a really cruel thing to do to someone. Active Jehovah's Witnesses are scared and not to be, I'm told not to be on the internet, but lots of active Jehovah's Witnesses listen to podcasts?
Yes. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, they're scared to research. They're told not to research outside of the org.
Ramapo, I guess.
Ramapo.
Rampo, I don't know. Ramapo.
They're told not to research outside of the org and everything. Yeah, that thing they're building in Ramapo is supposed to be like state of the art. It's supposed to be rival to the one the Mormons have.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be insane.
Yeah, and we should, Teach Yahweh says we should join to pray together for them, yeah.
You know, the Mormons, that's like a religion that's, people have no clue how rich they are.
Yeah, have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it is weird that, that the Jehovah's Witnesses are even told that they can use the internet, but they're told like they're only supposed to use it for certain things, you know,
right.
Like jw.org or something.
But you know, here's the thing: they can still read Encyclopedia Britannicas. They can still read world books. I think, I'm not sure, but if they can, all they got to do is go look up 1914 or the fall of Babylon, or the fall of Jerusalem to Babylon, and once they do, they're going to debunk 1914 immediately. Yeah.
You know, Jane, I think you might be right. We've talked about this, about Jehovah's Witnesses soon changing the name. You've seen the end of times. It is a church but it's an offshoot of Jehovah's Witness. Oh, okay. It's possible they may change the name because of all of their lawsuits.
But here's the thing: if they get sued and all those lawsuits hit them, they can't change the name. They could be another organization start up, but the people that were affiliated at the head of it cannot be a part of it. That would be illegal. And then because what it would do is make that new offshoot liable for all the other cases.
They've developed the Public Information Department.
Yes, they have.
Okay, and so there are some old kingdom halls that were sold off and are now churches.
Yep.
Muslim mosques and even a cannabis dispensary. Weren't those
that
buildings,
sounds good.
Weren't those buildings dedicated to Jehovah when they were opened? I know. I have seen some old kingdom halls that were turned into churches too. And why are they still doing door to door? Because I thought active Jehovah's Witnesses could only do cart witnessing. Well, I mean, they can do any of it, you know. They can go door to door, cart witnessing. There's informal, so you can go up and just like maybe somebody's at the gas station and you hand them a tract. There's also phone calls and letter writing. So as far as I know, they're still doing all of that. Probably not as much since they don't have to count the time unless they're pioneers.
Has anybody ever noticed the amount of people who drink really heavy that are Jehovah's Witnesses?
Yeah, a lot of them do have drinking problems. The International Bible Students still exist and they still use the right
Yes,
to
they
wrestle.
do.
Yes, we
Yeah.
actually purchased some of their booklets just to see what it says. And don't they talk about Armageddon?
They do.
Yeah, coming.
But they're actually very nice people.
They don't shun. I mean, that's the difference with Russell's.
Right, but yeah.
Right? Russell's people.
They celebrate the holidays.
Yeah, they believe in the cross. They celebrate the holidays, and they don't do shunnings. I'm not really sure if they would be considered doomsday.
No, they're doomsday because they still have a lot of the same beliefs.
Yeah, there's some similarities without.
They're still looking for Armageddon.
Yeah. But they just don't do as many, like, they don't do the shunnings, I guess.
Right. You know, Russell's favorite holiday was Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a whole thing about it in one of his newspapers.
But letter writing stamps cost more now. Yeah, so maybe wouldn't be a smart idea to write letters.
You have to wash a lot of windows.
Money. They do door to door during campaigns. Yeah, okay. My mom went through tons of stamps during COVID.
Yours did too.
Yeah, I know. We even got letters too. We got somebody come to our door and handed us the memorial invitation. Yeah. Once in a blue moon they'll come to the neighborhood. It was right before the memorial. They came.
This past one.
This one.
Oh, they didn't hand us nothing. They left it at the door because nobody come to the door.
They came to the door.
I was so upset because I missed them.
Gave us a memorial invitation, but nobody was available.
I wanted to talk to them so bad.
Well, no one was able to get to the door. So.
Yeah.
Wow, 78 cents now for one letter. Whew,
that's crazy.
A lot of money.
That's a whole lot of window washing.
Yeah. Forget that. I'm sending an email.
Yeah.
Copy and paste. Yeah,
there you go.
That doesn't count time though, so you have to do it by hand because you want to count those hours. Not that it matters now. She had horrible arthritis in her hand too. Yeah. They were made to handwrite every letter. No computer printing allowed. Yeah, well that's because they count time. They count the longer it takes, the more hours they can count.
Anybody notice how much they drink?
Okay, thanks for joining Teach Yahweh. You have a good
You have a very good night.
God bless you.
Definitely.
What now? Oh yeah, does anybody notice that there is like a drinking problem within the witness community? So just wondering about that.
So turning the old Kingdom Hall into dispensary, I don't really have a problem with, but I know they would. That's funny.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
I have bad arthritis as well, as you can see. It's like
you would not do good.
And I'm a musician by trade.
Letters, and your spelling is terrible on top of that.
Jeez, thanks. No, my spelling is good, actually.
Well, thank goodness for Chat GPT. You know,
it's that thing. That's what always messes me up. Is it don't hear me well.
Jesus can heal you.
Oh, what's I say?
Jesus can heal you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, you know, a lot of the ancient Jews
it's
and Judaism.
in the morning. I'm
where at?
Sleepy. Yeah, where are you? Okay, let me think. It's got to be in Europe. Let's see.
England, maybe?
11, 3, 12, 31, 32, 33.
Well, they're speaking English.
Probably somewhere in Europe, as I'm going to guess.
Oh, everybody, tell us where you're from.
Oh, Romania. Okay.
Oh, cool. One of my bucket list places to go, by the way.
Aussie, yeah.
All right. The land down under.
The land down under.
You want a Vegemite sandwich?
How's my accent?
Terrible.
California, Los Angeles.
All right.
Okay. Out
Home.
west. Yeah. 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 It's kind of cool to see people from different states and countries. New Mexico. Oh,
I
okay.
lived in Fountain Valley for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never lived out west, but I've visited. So that's really
Where
cool.
else?
That's it so far. Yeah. Cool since. Yeah, we're
I've
on
often
the
wondered
east.
what a Vegemite sandwich was.
Yeah. There's a mass exodus going on in California. Oh,
Yes, that's true.
oh. So you were born in Belize. Okay,
Another place I
cool.
like.
South America,
Cockershell
right?
Island.
Or is that Central America? South America, right?
I
Belize?
guess that would be Central America. It's right below Mexico.
No.
Yeah, British Honduras.
Belize is its own country.
Yeah, but it's right below Mexico. That's what I'm saying.
No, that goes Guatemala.
Belize is originally known as British Honduras.
Anyways, okay, Central America, he says.
Yeah, I know where it is. I've been there multiple times. I went to Cockershell Island. Of course, you go into Belize at the cruise ports. I've been tons of cruises there.
San Fernando Valley. A lot of people from out
cool.
in California. My parents were missionaries in Belize. Cool. I see a lot from yeah. Yeah, seems to be a lot from California. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, you know, I noticed when I lived in California that there is a lot of different cults, Christian groups. There's everything there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that place is that's weird that it, of all places for it to be there.
Yeah, and well, my dad was from California too. Even though I never lived
He was
there.
from Los Angeles.
Yeah, and he joined the Jehovah's Witness cult back in a long time ago. So I think there must be a lot of different. I don't know if there still is a lot of different cults or knockoff religious groups in California, or if that was just popular a long time ago.
Anybody from Orange County?
Oh, okay. Jane says I saw Iran had a big chemical fire yesterday.
Yeah, at the docks. Yeah, their port.
Wow. Okay, yeah, Mr. Chinchilla from Honduras. Yeah.
Yep.
Hola. Okay, the California churches will be offering dried mushrooms to make sermons better. Wow.
Oof. Or peyote to
yeah.
go over to.
What? Mr. Chinchilla says what?
Do a vision quest.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little much, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
What else is people?
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Still people here.
That's okay. Well,
so everybody's from like a lot of people from California.
We have
really shocked.
We have Honduras, Australia, Romania.
Yeah. Aussie land.
Wild West for sure. Yeah. Yeah, Wild West.
Being that I'm a musician, of course, there's the things about Aussie land I like. I do like AC/DC, even though they're originally, I think, are they Scottish or English? Can't remember. I think they're English.
Oh, where are we from? You don't know.
Oh, where are we from? I'm from all over, but where do we live now? We now live in North Carolina.
Yeah. USA.
But, yeah, USA. I love it.
There we go.
But neither one of us are from here.
So. Yeah. That's where we live now.
I'm originally, believe it or not, born on a Native American reservation. My dad was half Native American, half white. Born there, left when I was 17, moved to California, or right at 17.
Oh, can Hispanic Jehovah's Witnesses celebrate with piñatas for birthdays? I always was told no, that actually
no birthdays.
No birthdays, first of all.
Yeah,
you can't celebrate birthdays. Secondly, I do remember, because I used to be in the Spanish congregation, piñatas were not allowed because that was something you did in a birthday, typically, or a quinceañera, which is the kind of like the Sweet
Coming of
16
age, yeah.
version, yeah. And they would have the piñatas, so that wasn't allowed. And they always have some theory on there's some superstition behind it. I don't know. I can't remember because they think everything is tied to something pagan. So I can't remember. I mean, like, there's so many things that it's silly that they're not allowed to do. Like, you can't make a toast, you know, because that's considered
Oh,
it's considered pagan.
don't say bless you if somebody
Yeah,
sneezes.
don't say bless you if someone sneezes. Or, you know, of course, if, you know, as you know, they're all obsessed with everything being demonic. So the toast, I think, has something to do with, I can't remember. I think it's about being demonic. And then bless you is the same, like God bless you as if you had a demon in you or something like that. So it's just a lot of little things. And don't say good luck, you know.
Yeah.
Watchtower allows piñatas in 2003. Okay. Well, maybe they just changed, you know. But they didn't used to. I do remember they didn't used to allow it. They also, regarding, like, they would tell us that we're not allowed to have large anniversary parties. Like, you know, some people have like a 25-year anniversary party. I've been to some of those, and, you know, go all out, and they would make some article in the Watchtower about how they should be small and we shouldn't have big parties, and just it's just annoying. Like, just stop. I mean, you can't celebrate anything. The one and only thing you can celebrate are weddings and anniversaries, and you're telling them you can't really celebrate that to the extent that you want to. They like to control everything. What are you reading?
Oh, I was just reading some of this.
So
Yeah.
so many weird things. Exactly.
Oh, there it is. Asked them where the tradition of wedding rings. That's right. It come from
Yeah.
ancient Egypt.
Yeah, the tradition of wedding rings.
So many weird things.
We're pagan too.
All right. Let's see.
A Wake of September 2003 addresses the piñata.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some Roman.
So, piñatas allowed, birthday not allowed.
Awake. 2012. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, also before the Romans, the Egyptians would wear wedding bands as well.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I know that is she'll tell you I obsessed with watching Egyptian history.
Yeah, in fact, didn't you tell Brother Hicks about the wedding bands?
I did.
Being
but Romans
pagan
as well.
Origin,
yes.
You know, Romans. And what did he say about that?
And I found out later about the Egyptians, but he was like, he said, "Oh well." That was all he said.
Oh well, it's okay. You know, it's governing body says it's all right. We can do it. If not, then we don't do it. I've heard 3 ex-Jehovah's Witness men quit going to the meetings. Wife encouraged them to leave.
Yeah.
Okay. So many weird rules.
Agreed to that.
This live stream is as long as a meeting. Yeah, I know. We probably should wrap this up. Yeah.
Well, let's let this
Jehovah's
brother say
Witness
one more.
elders have no right breaking up marriages because one mate quits going to meetings. I know.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like those meetings in Jehovah's Witnesses that you just wish would end, right?
Yeah.
You ever go to those and you're sitting there? And then, like I said, it's like, and then when it's all done, you hear these people, "Oh, that brother gives such a good talk." And I'm like,
yeah,
that brother gave the worst talk I ever heard in my life. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, I got such a great message. Just like, you know, we had asked her mother. She's like, "Oh, I got such a good message from that, whatever it was, you know, this meeting, and it was really good." And we're like, "Oh, what was it about?"
Like she couldn't even tell us.
Oh. That's when you just like, what was it about? You know, she's just, I don't know. I was like, you're just lying to yourself.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
it wasn't good. It was terrible.
I know. It's true.
They're so funny and so predictable.
How does it make me feel when my mom uses the term "the truth"? Makes my skin crawl. Oh,
Uh,
I just,
Casey.
yeah, I just shrug it off. Like, yeah, whatever. You know, whatever she wants to believe, whatever her floats her boat. But I just, I'm careful. You know,
You have to be.
yeah. You just don't. You just.
She won't ask me nothing about it,
The only
though.
thing that I can't stand is going to the Kingdom Hall. Like, it just feel like so judged when I go there if I have to go. And I try to be nice, obviously, but it's just it has a very weird vibe. I don't like the vibe
Yeah.
at all. And it's very boring. And I'm just like, oh, get this over with.
Well, no matter how many times you call something the truth, no matter how many times you tell people it is the truth, you believe it's the truth does not make it the truth. You can
Mm-mm.
call a lie the truth all you want to, it's still a lie.
Yeah. Yeah. If you walk into another church, you get disfellowship. That's true. I mean, like, you can't do anything. You can't question anything. You can't be like, well, I'd like to just go visit because I'm curious about what other people believe or what other people are teaching. But see, they don't want that because then they're scared that you might leave. And you might.
You guys like the new backdrop?
Yeah, yeah. Well, this has been great. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Any more news?
And we will go ahead and wrap this up. And we appreciate you spending the time this evening with us. Jane says, I had a relative get married and die in another church. Oh.
You did too.
Yep. Yeah. You couldn't even do work at a church. That's true. If you were a carpenter or a plumber, etc., for someone else. I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, you can't even work there. I know, like, when I had to go to, I was working one time at a gas station, and the elders told me I couldn't work there because they sold cigarettes. And I'm like, so?
Grocery stores do too, and they let people work there.
I know. I mean, like, and tobacco products. I mean, like, okay, well, I'm not consuming them. Why does that matter?
They invest in tobacco and military stuff.
Oh yeah. I work at a military hospital. Not allowed. Oh yeah, that's right. Jehovah's Witnesses aren't allowed to be working in the military hospital or the VA.
That's sad.
And yeah, but yet they'll invest money in weapons,
Boeing,
and yeah, because they have invested money in the weapons. They've invested money in beer and cigarette companies.
RJR.
So, but yeah, they don't want you working there. And then if you're a nurse, you can't give a blood transfusion to a patient.
ATCO, whatever that one is, the subsidiary of Philip Morris invested in that heavily.
It's heard of the weapons, yeah. And then if you're a nurse, you can't give a blood transfusion to a patient. I remember a nurse who was a Jehovah's Witness, and I asked her what does she do in those situations, and she said she let someone else do it. Another nurse will administer the blood transfusions. Craziness. Well, you're not receiving it, so why can't you give it to someone who is asking for it? When I was around 10 or so, they asked what I wanted to be when I was growing up. I said a police officer. That was a fun talk. Yeah, can't be a police officer either. Can't carry weapons. The truth doesn't mind being questioned. Yeah. I know a lady gave up her police job because she became a Jehovah's Witness, huh? Yeah. Well, and there's been people who quit if they were in the military and maybe it was a career for them. There had been people who, quit that, and lost out on their pension and all.
The brother I studied with, the elder, he told me about someone that was a police officer that was in that congregation that quit. Now, he was a born-in that left and then come back, but quit his job to get back into the Jehovah's Witness. That's crazy. And then the elder I studied with, he used to be a karate instructor, and he quit that to get back into it.
And he was a really good one. And
very good one, yeah.
Yeah, successful. And
I
gave that up. So you can get disfellowship for that, too. It's just so many things.
One of my bodybuilding friends knew him.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we will go ahead and wrap this up. We thank you all for being here today. that's it.
Oh,
That was
somebody
it.
just said something.
No.
Oh.
Good night.
Oh, good night.
Y'all take care as well, and we will be back again soon. Oh, it's a weird story. New Jehovah's Witness got married, later found out one of the mates used to be a woman, not born a man. Wow.
That would be interesting. Oh.
Yeah. I wonder
Oh.
how did they treated what did they do? It's kind of strange. So when do you want to do another live chat?
Every Sunday, but this coming Sunday might not happen because mother-in-law will be staying with us for a week.
Yeah.
So
we will,
it might be a weird time that we do it, but
yeah.
we're going to plan on doing them every Sunday. But this coming week might be some odd time. We'll post it, but we never post it, and then never mind. We'll let everybody know when it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that story, Jane. By the way, that elders wanted them to stay, but the real woman in marriage said no way. Yeah. Well,
that would be. I'd like to see how that went.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks. We had a great time, and y'all take care, and we will be sending out notifications when we'll do another live chat, and we'll be working on more interviews and more doctrine change, like stories on the old light and new light theories.
And don't forget to hit the like button, and if you really like what we're doing, buy us a cup of coffee.
Yeah, it's on the description.
Yeah, it's in the description.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so very much.
Bye.
Have a good night.